Hello gorgeous people, what is going on? And welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're back going over the analog horror series, Prehistoric Emergence. Now, if you haven't seen my previous videos on this series, please be sure to go and watch those first so that you're all caught up. The link to them will be in the description down below. But I will give you a small recap. In this series, holes have opened up in the ocean and on land, and creatures that we once thought were extinct all came out of these holes at once. This new change to Earth has devastated humanity with destroyed ecosystems, ruined economies, and of course, the death of many humans. In an attempt to fight off the emergent creatures, an international organization was formed called GPAC. In the last episode, we learned that they were struggling to find enough manpower and money to fight off the emergence. But in today's new episode, we learn how GPAC is taking a different approach to fighting off the emergence, and we find out about a new threat that may have an even worse effect than the emergence of the prehistoric creatures. And at the end of this video, we're going to be doing a special Q&A with the creator of Prehistoric Emergence, AZUNStudios. I'm super excited to jump in today, but of course, please be sure to go and support the original creator of this series, AZUNStudios, whose link to their channel will be at the top of the description down below. Please be sure to go and support your analog horror content creators. Especially since AZUNStudios is so close to hitting 100K, I'm sure we could definitely help them hit that mark, so be sure to head to that link in the description. One last thing before we begin though. I know sometimes you guys are too scared to watch these videos on your own, and that's why you watch them with me, but another great way that you can go and support these creators is by opening up their videos in another tab or on another device, and just lowering the volume but don't mute it entirely. This is hugely helpful to the creators because they could still get their watch time and views to continue growing on the algorithm. So please be sure to do that. The links to today's videos that we're watching are in the description down below. But alright guys, it's time. We have a lot of wild stuff to jump into today. Enough me yapping. Let's jump right in. Prehistoric Emergence. My prehistoric roommate.
Previously on Prehistoric Emergence.
GPAC has asked us to announce that they are actively mobilizing global military forces to effectively manage the prehistoric emergence. Stay alert.
These are all clips from previous episodes that we've seen.
France is experiencing a massive surge in pest populations, devastating the country's crops. GPAC has deployed a specialized force armed with an experimental pesticide designed to eliminate insects the size of Meganora and smaller. Public concern is mounting over GPAC's use of an experimental, possibly untested pesticide in populated areas. Adding to the unease, GPAC has not disclosed the pesticide's ingredients or potential side effects, leaving many questioning this approach.
Again, one of the biggest focuses at the end of the last video I made was GPAC is struggling for manpower, for money to do these things, to take care of these prehistoric threats, and they have to do some pretty bad things to even try to manage. Like for example, they just stated in France, the Meganora bug that has been in France. It's huge and it's devastating crops. It's causing massive bad things for France. So what do? They decide to use a pesticide to get rid of it, but they don't have enough time to be testing pesticides and seeing its long-term effects. So they just release the pesticide and whatever happens, happens. And it's them trying, but also is that doing even more bad things than if we just let the Meganora live? It's a big mess, and GPAC's under so much pressure to try to handle all these prehistoric threats, but they don't at all have the resources to do it. And another reminder is that the last episode that we went over with the raptors, the biggest thing was that GPAC needed to protect that community because there was a senator there that wanted to be backing GPAC in legislation. And because GPAC failed in that town, they're no longer getting backed by that senator, which again brings them even further down in trying to take care of all the threats. Prehistoric Emergence refers to an event in which numerous animals once believed to be extinct for millions of years have suddenly reappeared through unexplainable openings such as caves, deep holes, and blue holes.
Welcome back. I'm cutting Arthur's fourth meal out of 6 today.
We will be turning on captions for this.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm cutting Arthur's fourth meal out of 6 today. It's kale again. I know, not exciting at all, but finding food that isn't contaminated with the pesticide is getting tricky. The good news is he's getting his favorite dinner. He's going to be pretty excited. So, updates on my end. I quit my job about 2 weeks ago now. Next week. Not ideal, but taking care of a growing prehistoric creature has been a full-time job. Doesn't exactly pay the bills in the same way, but we'll figure it out. Arthur's worth it.
What is Arthur? I feel like I'm really not gonna like whatever Arthur is.
Anyways, I need to talk to you all about something serious. I don't usually bring things up like this, but tomorrow is really important for France. The exile manifestation is happening. We are marching to demand that GPAC leave our country. They mandated this experimental pesticide to solve France's prehistoric crisis. I'll admit it's working. The pesticide is decimating the Meganera population, but it does not discriminate. Even if you do not have sympathy for these poor creatures, you must know that we are not immune to its effects. I could go on, but at this point, the pesticide is wounding France far worse than any Meganera ever could.
Okay, so exactly like I said, do we put out this experimental pesticide to try to take care of the Meganera, or is it better to just somehow try to figure out another way to deal with the Meganera instead? Because the experimental pesticide could be even more devastating. And wow, that is horrific. Exile manifestations sweep across France in historic anti-GPAC protest. Pet owners, farmers protecting their livelihood, and seasoned activists. Controversial pesticide campaign, a coordinated nationwide demonstration. So because of this experimental pesticide, they're like, GPAC, we're done with you. Get out. You're destroying the country now. This is insane image. I guess I forget, or I don't even think when we first saw the Meganera, it showed how big these things genuinely are. That is massive. They're huge. That's ridiculous. They are literally like the size of dogs, of a large dog. That's crazy. It does look alien almost. Could you imagine that thing or like hundreds of those things just flying around your neighborhood? It makes sense why they want to push a pesticide, but my God, this is horrific. I totally understand why they're so against GPAC. GPAC health officials downplay new cancer data amid ongoing pesticide campaign. Independent researchers report 33 rise in lymphoma cases in high exposure regions since anti-Meganera spraying began. Bee colonies, ground beetles, aquatic larvae, broad spectrum die-offs across trophic levels. The Meganera were a disruption. The pesticide is a catastrophe. Found that Hodgkin's lymphoma diagnosis surged by 33%, 18% mortality rate for domestic pets. Wow. It's crazy that this was like a small mention in Beast of the Earth, and this is obviously devastating. Like, holy.
Facts. I could go on, but at this point, the pesticide is wounding France far worse than any Meganera ever could. The news keeps pushing this apocalypse narrative. That it's us versus them. Men versus prehistory. Don't get me wrong, the emergence is serious. People have died. But it doesn't mean extinction. it needs adaptation. The reason I started this vlog is to show that man and prehistory can coexist.
Respect.
Anyhow, enough of my rant. Arthur's not getting any less hungry.
What is Arthur?
He's been a little shy today. I'm going to leave his bowl here, and I'll switch to the feed cam so you can all watch.
Pack it up. Pack it up. If this is modern day, I cannot live in it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna have to move to another planet. The only way it could get worse for me is if we somehow there's like a prehistoric spider that is like the size of me. I don't know what it is, but I just don't like it. It's giving me centipede vibes. I respect what my guy is trying to do. You know, humans and animals, prehistoric animals, we could coexist. Maybe not all of us, man. I can't have an Arthur in my home. I will have a heart attack. Okay, I just can't do it. I can't do it. Yep, I'll take mimics. I'll take alternates. Hell, I might even take the boiled one. This, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it. I think it's cute. Then maybe you should get yourself your own Arthur. Me, not doing it. It's not happening. Fun fact. Arthroplera. Now hold up. Hold up. Are you out of your mind? What? Biggest bug known to ever exist? No. 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 Fun fact, Arthroplera are responsible for 0 human casualties. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. That does make me a little happier. Knowing that if I had my own Arthur, it wouldn't eat me in my sleep.
So, a lot of you have been asking what exactly Arthur is. Allow me to explain. Arthur is in Arthroplera borealis. Before the emergence, we never found fossils or proof they ever existed. A species from a chapter of time we never got to read. The borealis are, as some of you have noticed, they are related to Arthroplera. We already knew of, but their coloration is some sort of warning for predators. They can also survive in low temperatures. I can't remember exactly how, but it has something to do with the glycerol and the diapods. Something like that. So them being named after a winter deity is not totally unfitting. People also wonder how I met Arthur. Me and Arthur met some months back, little after when the Meganilla showed up. I used to leave out raisins for the birds, and Arthur kept beating them to it. One night I left the door open and I came downstairs and to see Arthur staring at the box of raisins. He already ate all the ones outside, of course. He just wanted more. I let him out, but he always came back. I couldn't count with 10 hands how many times you all told me to invest in a flamethrower. But when I look at him, I only ever see beauty. But my parents, maybe not so much. But they weren't... They weren't fond of anything that crawls at the formations. No matter how cute or horrifying, it's not a mystery either. Our family lost a home to GPEC's zoning law. We were too close to one of the openings.
Yes, that noise is Arthur on the wall. That is Arthur moving. That sound is kind of traumatizing for me. That reminds me, if you guys watched on the second channel, we played Idols of Ash, where in that game I was chased by a giant centipede, and another way to know how close it was the sound of like its legs moving, and that's exactly what that reminds me of.
Anyhow, fingers crossed my apartment doesn't come next. Alright, pretty much ready for the exile manifestation. Made a couple of signs.
Wow.
Here I'm telling GPEC what I want them to do.
This sign translated means leave my country.
And here I am telling GPEC what they are. I'm actually quite excited. Arthur, none!
What did Arthur do?
Arthur has been very antsy to go outside lately. Training an Arthur player is not as easy as it looks. Anyways, time to go. Wish me luck!
Fun fact. The exile manifestation reached an attendance of over 450,000. Ready for this? Surpassing the Bloquan's tout turnout. Essentially, though, that means block everything. It was a protest movement in France that emerged on social media in May of 2025. The movement called for a general strike and nationwide shutdown on September 10th, 2025 to oppose the austerity measures proposed by the government of Prime Minister François Bayrou. Again, I'm probably mispronouncing that.
It was beautiful. There were thousands of people there. So many people standing together, finally being vocal. Oh, some of the people there even recognized me. Who would have thought? Little old me. They said that
cool.
Arthur gives them hope. That if I can coexist with the Prehistoric Emergence, they might be able to as well. Anyway, before I reward Arthur with some raisins, I am looking around for droppings. In other words, poop, for lack of a better term. What is...
Wait, what's up?
Mon Dieu.
Egg.
What is it? Also, it's a girl. Also, it's going to be a mother. I'm going to be a grandfather.
That also means Arthur got out too.
During this precious moment, I will be taking a break from the vlogs as I will be taking care of my children. I don't believe it.
Wow. 7 days later.
Hey everyone. So, update for you all. Arthur's keeping the eggs warm, so that's good. I have no idea how I'm going to afford this once they hatch. So, I might have to start a GoFundMe. I don't know. The food alone costs.
Is that Arthur?
Who's there?
Oh, okay. Someone knocking on the door. Oh, nah.
Antoine Roux.
Yes, and you are?
We received reports you've been harboring a prehistoric organism, and we've linked your address to several online posts inciting retaliation against GPAC operations.
That isn't
You
true.
were ordered to comply as we enter your residence to
Whoa!
euthanize the creature.
Wait.
Whoa!
It's true. Please. You don't. Sills?
We're gonna need you to put the phone away.
I can record for my own safety. I have rights.
Mr. Roux, refusal to comply constitutes obstruction of GPAC investigation. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but do you have a search order?
The nature of your charge puts you under our jurisdiction. We don't need a search order.
I know my rights.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, but No, please stop! Yo, take me! Shut up, you fucking priest!
Whoa! Whoa! That's insane! Now listen, I know the GPAC's practices were absolutely not good, especially when you consider things like the pesticide and stuff like that. But usually their intentions are good, and you know, especially after we saw Gray and Patch in the last episode, like Gray and Patch were very cool dudes. So seeing this is like, whoa. Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, although see, like, Patch and Gray were cool, right? But at the same time, they never dealt with somebody that was like, you know, trying to say that Prehistoric Emergence was okay and that we could live with it. I wonder if they would have reacted in a similar way. Oh God.
You find it?
Searched everything but the basement. Thought you'd want to join in on the fun.
Let's get this over with.
Maybe after this whole pesticide thing, they'll station us back in the States.
Theropods and as dark a day are much more dangerous, Brad.
Hey, well, who knows? Maybe I'll be the next penance.
Penance is a myth. You can't take down Dromaeosaur with a knife.
Watch me.
If you say so.
Is Arthur about to go crazy?
What the hell?
Damn, I feel bad. Oh, man.
Good evening. I'm Charlotte LeChance, and we are the AZUNStudios Channel.
Wait, was that implying that the eggs were hatched? I feel like he put his, I thought we heard a crack on the shells. Let me just double check that. They look fine though, like they look in good. See, that sounds like a crack, like,
Good evening. I'm Charlotte LeChance, and we are the AZUNStudios Channel. It is our responsibility to keep you informed on all developments regarding the Prehistoric Emergence. Internet personality and activist Antoine Roux has been arrested at his home in Lyon. Joining us now is a GPAC officer who was present at the arrest. Thank you for speaking with us. What led to Mr. Roux's arrest?
We received evidence that Mr. Roux was harboring a prehistoric organism deemed hazardous to France.
And what happened to the creature?
Standard pesticide protocol.
I see. And Mr. Roux?
He's been detained.
Mr. Roux was live streaming when you arrived. Were you aware of that?
No, we were not.
The footage shows
that was live,
forcing entry without presenting a search order. Can you speak to that?
We had evidence he was harboring a dangerous creature. It would have been unethical to wait for authorization.
The creature in question was an arthropleura. Our research shows they feed on decaying plant matter, making them relatively harmless. Is there intelligence on this species that has not been made public?
The prehistoric emergence is a danger to every facet of our life. That includes infrastructure, agriculture, public safety.
What specific threat do arthropleura pose?
They're unnatural to France's ecosystem. They come out of holes in the ground.
What is the specific threat?
We're trying to prevent another Billings massacre.
that is not at all the same. You know that is not at all the same. A bunch of dinosaurs flooding through a city versus Arthur? Come on. Come on, bro.
What threat did Arthur pose?
We're giving them names now. Antoine Roux is breeding these things, promoting the very dangers of the prehistoric emergence, inciting violence against GPAC operations. This is an attack on public safety.
Nothing in his content suggests
He had a platform, and he used it to actively sabotage our livelihoods. Antoine Roux is a traitor to humanity.
Where is Mr. Roux being held?
At a detention center.
Where exactly?
That's classified.
His supporters are concerned for his safety. Will Antoine Roux receive a fair trial?
Mr. Roux will be given the treatment all prehistoric sympathizers do. Let Antoine Roux's arrest serve as a reminder. In times of global crisis, unity is not optional. Every citizen has a duty to humanity's survival. The prehistoric emergence, it is an invasion. We are fighting those that crawled out of the depths of hell, and anyone who shelters them. Humanity first. Always.
You're literally the prime example of what the gods are trying to say. Created by AZUN. GPAC badges available limited time. Merch. Oh damn! I wonder if those are still available. Shout out to the voice acting, just the cast in general. Amazing work. Amazing work. That's crazy. Wait. Arthur just taking a shower? Wow. Did not realize how messed up G-Pack was. I was really rooting for them and like felt bad for them, but there is like an extremely bad side to it. See, where I thought that was gonna go was I thought Arthur was actually going to turn and end up killing him. But the fact that Arthur doesn't turn it does specifically prove the point that it is possible for us to adapt to living with some of these certain creatures. And the fact that G-Pack isn't even willing to understand that, like in a case of the Billings massacre, yes, like that's I understand that point of like, you know, the T-Rexes just devastating Billings and killing like I think it was like 300 people. But Arthur wasn't gonna kill anybody. Arthur's type of creature has never been known to hurt anyone. So, I don't like that he said like he's gonna face the same fate as all other prehistoric sympathizers. I don't like that at all. Because like, what does that mean? That sounds like he's more than just arrested. I wonder if dare I say, does that mean that they're gonna kill him? It's a really good episode. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like this went from like, it was just news broadcasts of like, you know, scrolling through images, and now we're getting like whole character arcs and direct views of people going through this and what they're experiencing. And small things like this, like small things like Antoine Roux's story with Arthur is obviously going to have a dramatic effect on everything, because now we're seeing like how ruthless G-Pack could be, how they're just invading homes to take out these creatures, even if they're not dangerous. Really good episode. Really good episode. All right, let's jump into the next one. Prehistoric Emergence, RaptorAI. Prehistoric Emergence refers to an event in which numerous animals once believed to be extinct for millions of years have suddenly reappeared through unexplainable openings such as caves, deep holes, and blue holes.
Over your shoulder, or the sky above you, when you didn't expect the unexpected. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Jess, and I've been given early access to RaptorAI, a software that promises humanity's coexistence with the prehistoric emergence. RaptorAI's artificial intelligence model has been trained on the creature's migration paths. Using that data, the AI will forecast where creatures will arrive before they get there, like a weather app for prehistory. It will soon be available through your browser, phone, laptop, TV, and even your Apple Watch. When you open RaptorAI, the first thing you see is a map centered on your location. There are two types of markers here: real-time alerts and forecasts. Alerts are live. These come from verified user reports of creatures spotted right now. You'll see live tracking on the creature, a danger metric, and a border showing the affected area. Forecasts are where the AI really kicks in. It's pulling from migration data and past reports to predict where creatures are headed before they arrive. You'll see a projected migration path, affected area, confidence metric, danger metric, and a predicted arrival window.
Interesting. So it is literally like a weather app, but for prehistoric creatures.
You can search and filter by species. So if I search for Elasmosaurus, I see a forecast near Fisherman's Wharf. Let's click on it. Okay, danger scale is high, but why? If I click this button, the AI breaks everything down for us. Elasmosaurus typically feed on small marine life, but they will attack humans in their territory. This one was last tracked near the waters off Sausalito, and RaptorAI is saying it will reach the wharf in about 2 days, just in time to ruin everybody's kayaking plans. Oh, a notification just popped up.
Whoa!
A live alert. Let's click on it. A Pachyrhinosaurus is causing a traffic jam downtown.
We're just gonna ignore the giant. Alright, whatever.
And now you know to leave extra early to make it to work on time. RaptorAI is crowdsourced. That means it will only get smarter as more people use it. If you encounter a creature, and you're at a safe distance, reporting it could save a life. You don't even need to identify the species, just input as many details as you safely can, and the AI will aggregate multiple reports to predict what it is. Attaching a photo goes a long way in verifying your report and helping the AI with identification. But I need to say this clearly. If you see a prehistoric creature and your life is in danger, call the authorities. Do not risk approaching a creature to gather more details. Let's do a quick quiz to make sure we are all on the same page. Question 1. You are near a large theropod. What do you do? A. Call the authorities. B. Report the encounter to RaptorAI. Or C. Get closer to gather more details.
Obviously, get closer for more details, then report to RaptorAI, and then call authorities. Obviously.
The correct answer is A. Always. With a large theropod, you do not linger. You call the authorities immediately, and they will walk you through what to do. Never risk yourself to file a report. Question 2. You encounter a creature you do not recognize. It's small. Honestly, it's kind of cute. What do you do? A. Call the authorities. B. Report.
Okay, an opening.
The correct answer is to call the authorities first. If they determine you are not in immediate danger, you can then submit a report through RaptorAI. No matter how harmless a prehistoric creature may appear, remember that all prehistoric life is considered invasive. Even the cute ones can severely damage modern ecosystems. When RaptorAI launches, download it. The more people reporting, the more accurate the predictions become. RaptorAI is already in talks to collaborate with GPAC to mitigate prehistoric threats. And in the future, they want to partner with public schools to trigger closures when migrations are predicted in the area. That alone could save lives. Thank you all for joining me in this demonstration. I hope you are all just as excited as I am for when RaptorAI launches. In a world shaped by the prehistoric emergence, tools like this may be the closest thing humanity has to adapting to our new reality. And who knows, if enough people work together, we may one day return to something that almost feels like the world we once knew.
We still got time. Created by AZUN. Shout out to the cast again. I have questions. We're gonna go back. Oh hell yeah. All right, I'm not going to show that. We're about to go over that episode, what this is referring to. It's in this case where it's like does it have to be AI based? Can it not just be an app that's like a reporting system? You know what I mean? You report, we identify what it is, and then you can provide the information around what that is. Does it have to be AI based? Obviously I want to go back to the map because I think it's very clearly that was meant to show us something there. So let's go look at this section again. So like very obviously, what is the problem on this map? What is a little concerning here? Maybe the giant amounts of red in the top left, right? Yet the focus is down there. I just think it's interesting. Quetzalcoatlus, obviously a big wave of them is coming, and I'm 99% sure that the next episode is going to be like, we're jumping straight into that. The big Qs are coming. It's just this one part gets me, dude. Let's watch through this part again. So we got this house here with this pool. A hole opens up. Obviously, big problem. Prehistoric creatures coming out of that hole. What happens next? House gets demolished, removed. And then the zoom out is showing what, again, I believe is supposed to be a data center. So is the irony there that this thing, you know, we made RaptorAI to help humans, but at the same time, we're also, again, damaging the environment and creating this giant data center on there. And also, it's fine to get rid of the big house that's next to the hole, but we could leave the data center that's also not that far, because that's more important. Perhaps, maybe even the hole is opened there in that specific location on purpose. Like the gods, right, that are opening these holes, opened it next to the data center in hopes to destroy the data center at some point. Maybe. But if GPAC is the one that removed the home, of course they're not going to remove the data center, because apparently RaptorAI is going to be working with GPAC. And of course GPAC wants to work with RaptorAI because that's going to help them know exactly where these prehistoric creatures are so that they could take care of them. Well, it appears that right now we're about to see how GPAC is going to use RaptorAI to their advantage. So let's jump into the next one. Prehistoric Emergence. Primordial Crusades. This is AWACS Warbird, Bloodtail. You are to assume command of Irontail Squadron. RaptorAI is tracking a code 42 Longbeak flock entering the Frankfurt border. You've been cleared for immediate launch. Okay. Okay. What we about to do right here?
Irontail 3. Distance to Longbeaks.
RaptorAI touched them at 19 miles out, Angel 6.
Sir, we're cutting it close. Longbeaks will pass the civilian threshold in under a minute.
Longbeaks.
Denise down there. Irontails, weapons hot. On my mark, light the burners.
All units, this is AWACS Warbird. You are not clear to engage. Targets are approaching the civilian threshold. Circle back and maintain patrol on Longbeak activity.
Copy. Following.
Roger, disengaging.
Oh, he didn't disengage.
Bloodtail, what's your status?
Going full blower. Preparing to engage.
Bloodtail, pull back immediately. This is a direct order. Bloodtail, do you copy? Bloodtail, do you copy? Bloodtail! Bloodtail!
Bro. Like, that was sick. That was awesome. That is so dope. Like, dude, that's like, oh my god. Again, it's like you watch episode 1 and it's like, all right, this is a cool concept, and then you like, now this is what we're watching. Holy dude. Oh. Quetzalcoatl. Am I right on that?
Quetzalcoatl.
Let's go. Yes, so that is supposed to be Quetzalcoatl. And interesting, that is literally, yeah, like we've seen this image before. I'll pull it up again. We've seen this image in the Prehistoric Emergence series, but I think this will give you a better understanding of it. This is literally, it was Quetzalcoatl that I believe delivered the message that we heard from the gods directly. Is the god leading the migration? It definitely seems that way. When you think about it, GPAC, like this is something that they have been heavily pushing against. They've been heavily trying to take down the big Q everywhere that they can. So, and we know that the gods are retaliating in some way by giving them backup. So this is that's like a really cool, like, blink and you miss it kind of reference there. AZUN News.
We are the AZUN News Channel. It is our responsibility to keep you updated on all matters pertaining to the Prehistoric Emergence. The AZUNStudios, initially observed to be solitary hunters at the onset of their emergence, have since been confirmed to travel in flocks, a behavior first witnessed during the Hatzergopteryx migration to the U.S. East Coast.
Hatzergopteryx.
Recent developments indicate these flocks are forming progressively larger communities. Experts attribute this shift to what is known as defensive aggregation. This theory is strongly supported by GPAC's Air Division, the Anti-Pterosaur Air Force, or APAF. Formed shortly after the pterosaur's resurgence, the APAF are tasked with dispatching jet formations to intercept migrating AZUNStudios. While GPAC has classified official data regarding prehistoric population sizes, reliable sources estimate that APAFs neutralize an entire AZUNStudios flock every hour. Under current legislation, APAF pilots are permitted to engage targets only above unpopulated forestry or large bodies of water.
Makes sense.
However, yesterday, a single pilot intercepted a migrating flock as it approached Frankfurt, Germany. 3 Quetzalcoatlus carcasses fell into the city. One struck an unoccupied storefront, another collided with a traffic signal. A third landed on a civilian vehicle, carrying a family of 4. Due to the severity of the impact, the identities of the victims have not yet been confirmed.
Oh my god.
Public division has intensified. Some are calling for the arrest of the pilot involved, Christopher Kaufer. Others argue that allowing AZUNStudios flock to migrate into the city would amount to a much greater catastrophe. GPAC has stated that Mr. Kaufer will undergo a formal disciplinary review. For now, the APAF will remain active in our skies, with renewed efforts to reduce what they have termed human error.
Well, Prehistoric Emergence confers. I love that this is on X or Twitter. GPAC extends its deepest sympathies to those affected by yesterday's incident in Frankfurt. APAF pilot Christopher Kaufer has been placed on administrative leave pending an internal review. The APAF remains committed to protecting civilian airspace. We are actively exploring solutions to minimize human error in operations. APAF exists to keep our skies safe. Damn, 165,000 likes, 49 million views.
Part of those renewed efforts appears to center around RaptorAI. RaptorAI is an artificial intelligence firm that claims it can predict where prehistoric creatures will migrate before they get there. The company describes it as a weather application for prehistoric activity, alerting users to nearby creatures, projected movement, and estimated arrival times. The software launched publicly this week, surpassing a world record and exceeding 10 million downloads on the first day of its release.
Damn.
We should note, while RaptorAI was designed to help people avoid prehistoric encounters, there have been thrill seekers using the platform to deliberately seek them out.
Oh, God.
Most recently, a crowd gathered around a sauropod herd. Even species perceived as docile can demonstrate unpredictable aggression. Perhaps the most significant development is RaptorAI's predictive technology now being integrated directly into GPAC's military operations. For the first time, forces can be pre-positioned, units can match the threat with the appropriate weaponry, a strategy some are praising as the first real attempt to technologically match the unpredictable and never-ending nature of the prehistoric emergence. Since the Palmer Ridge incident, GPAC has suffered in recruitment and funding. Despite that, they have demonstrated greater efficiency through the use of artificial intelligence. A recently published report suggests prehistoric creature casualties have surged, the most noteworthy statistic being that over 1,000 theropods die each day. The commercial air travel ban has impeded on the livelihoods of many since the Asdarchidae's emergence. GPAC now promises the ban will be lifted within the coming months as RaptorAI is integrated further, specifically into APAF operations. Several governments have begun subsidizing the effort. Many have newfound hope that the luxury of air travel will return soon. RaptorAI does have its limits. Their models have shown no ability to predict where formations will appear. To this day, no progress has been made towards an explanation for when or where these openings emerge.
Because there isn't one. It's because that they're strategically placed. Like there isn't like a system to it, I think. I think the fact that there is one next to the data center for RaptorAI, if we're right on that, if we're right that that hole was next to the data center, I think that is strategically placed by the gods. That's why there's no predictability. They place them where they think that they're needed. If there are people that are doing like, I guess things to try to fight off the emergence, they try to place a hole right there to stop them or to interrupt their process.
We once again bring you an update on GPAC's pesticide campaign across France. After devastating the Magnora population, GPAC has set their eyes on a new invasive species. These small theropods have been identified as a growing threat to poultry, domestic pets, and young children. In a recent statement, GPAC reported that the species has contributed to a 21% decline in agricultural output across affected regions, while also being linked to over 32,000 domestic pet attacks.
Oh God.
Nearly half of which were fatal. In response, GPAC has bolstered their pesticide campaign. A fleet of autonomous spraying drones has now been deployed across both rural and urban environments. Utilizing RaptorAI, these drones are capable of forecasting the Compsognathus's movement patterns and release the toxin ahead of the creature's arrival. The drones will not discriminate between public and private property. Under current legislation, any structure suspected of prehistoric movement is classified as an active infestation zone, legally permitting chemical deployment without prior notice. France is at a boiling point. The country finds itself split between those who have suffered from the prehistoric emergence and view the consequence of a chemical war as a necessary sacrifice, and those who refuse to accept it. The latter have been labeled prehistoric sympathizers. Some have begun attacking drones in retaliation against GPAC, leading to a wave of arrests. This cold civil war has been further inflamed by the case of Antoine Roux, a viral activist known for sheltering an arthroplura named Arthur. Arthur was euthanized by GPAC. Antoine was subsequently arrested. Both actions have deeply angered a growing subsection of the French public, a subsection that has now been organized. In response to the continued arrests, a national movement has emerged under the name Arrêt Total.
Let's go!
Beginning April 7th, participants will refuse to work, buy, or engage in economic activity for 7 days. If enough take part, the action would effectively freeze France's economy for a full week, with the stated goal of forcing government officials to
Okay, so active movements now about going against GPAC, which is great. This is, oh man. Again, I say this every single episode of this, but every single time that you think like, damn, that's bad. How much worse can it get? It just continues to get worse. And now it's not even just, you know, creature versus human. It's now human versus human, because there's two different ways that this is being viewed. You know, get rid of the prehistoric creatures. Let's work with the prehistoric creatures. And now those are clashing. And that's just going to get worse. I only imagine that the anti-G-Pack is just going to grow and grow and grow. They're going to come to an even greater boiling point. Depots linked to blackouts in surrounding areas. Blue holes linked to rising water levels. Coastal regions to expect aggressive flooding. Okay, this is new. New research claims a formation emerges every 15 minutes, with the total count surpassing 47,000. Okay, so causing blackouts, rising water levels, and they are rapidly increasing. So the holes themselves are advancing now.
Viewers, we've just received word that a $50,000 bounty is now being offered by G-Pack for information leading to the location of Oompy Jr. We're receiving new information as the story develops, but early reports suggest a zoonotic pathogen may have been spread from the Toronto Zoo to multiple regions around the world. Initial cases appear to involve several zookeepers who previously cared for the Oompy family. Very little is currently known about the disease. For more information, we now go live to Brendan Murray, who is at a private hospice speaking with a former Toronto Zoo employee.
Okay, I'm going to speak on this and give like a mini recap of what this is. So the Toronto Zoo got their hands on a woolly mammoth who was called Oompy. Oompy had a child, Oompy Jr., and apparently Oompy got sick. They originally said it was Oompy got sick with tuberculosis and he died. And then apparently someone released Oompy Jr. Like, it was theorized that someone that worked at the Toronto Zoo just released him, let Oompy Jr. out into the wild, and that was it. It was then discovered that an illness was spread among the zookeepers. And it was at this point that they realized it wasn't tuberculosis, it was something else. And that means that Oompy didn't die from tuberculosis. And it almost seems like someone was trying to cover it up. Now, what I'm wondering is if they're trying to get Oompy Jr. because Oompy Jr. might have like some kind of way of preventing sickness for this. Maybe Oompy Jr. is something that Oompy Jr. can create a vaccine or a cure to this sickness. So that's why G-Pack wants him badly now by providing $50,000. Yeah, Oompy Jr. has immunity. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you, chat.
The patient has chosen to remain anonymous.
Hello. I'm Brendan Murray with AZUN News. Thank you for speaking with us. How are you feeling? Of course. Nurse. Somebody? Thank you. Here you are. Can you describe your illness for us?
I can't.
Let's try something easier. How about we try yes or no questions? Is the disease contagious?
Yes.
Is the disease the reason for your cough? With your fingers, can you show me on... from that question. Is the disease affect...
Was his hand weird? Wait.
With your fingers, can you show me on...
No, I think it... I think it's... I can't tell. No, I think it's normal. I think it's normal. Oh, we'll go back. We'll go back. It's hard to tell if the nails are pointy or what that's about.
Let's move on from that question. Is the disease affecting your lungs? Your throat?
I'm so tired. I can never sleep. It's been 70 hours.
I'm sorry to hear that. Can surgery cure the illness?
Group ag.
Was your disease contracted by one of the Oompies?
Yes.
Was your disease responsible for Oompi's death? That was originally thought to be tuberculosis.
I signed an NDA. Paid for the hospital. Fucking. Oompy is not Oompy Jr.'s dad. Branding died from the same thing that lives here.
Are former Toronto Zoo visitors at risk?
Wait, what?
They had so many people travel. All they did was create the staging grounds.
We appreciate you sharing so much. I know how difficult it is. If I may ask one more question.
The cold water, it helps. Ask.
Why is there a bounty on Oompy Jr.?
He's special. His body secretes something. I'm not letting those bastards profit off the remedy. And I set him free.
I'm sorry. Just, is your condition... is the disease fatal?
Absolutely. Hold on, we're gonna go back. Let's let the credits play out. A lot of people in this one. Want to make sure they get their credits in case anybody's curious who voiced who. A lot of familiar names too. I've definitely seen a lot of these people in past episodes, of course. Hold up. Wait a minute. Where was that? Wait, hold on. Damn. Yuji Itadori? Yuji Utsutori watches Prehistoric Emergence? All right. Wow. That is kind of a bombshell to be dropped at the end of the episode there. So I just want to go back to the beginning real quick to show you guys something that I missed. In the usual introduction to the Prehistoric Emergence episodes, there is a change here. Prehistoric Emergence refers to an event in which numerous animals and pathogens, once believed to be extinct for millions of years, have suddenly reappeared through unexplainable openings such as caves, deep holes, and blue holes. That's right, pathogens. And we got our friend sick here with some kind of new disease. So let's go through the facts of this disease. First of all, the disease seems to have come from one of the Oompies. It's contagious. It causes a very violent cough. It's located in the throat. It makes you unable to sleep. This patient here has apparently been awake for 70 hours straight. Cold water can help soothe it a little bit, but it seems most importantly, it can't be removed through surgery. It can apparently grow back. Now listen, I got no kind of information on what this kind of thing could be. I mean, this could be some sickness from prehistoric times that we have no information about. I know some people were saying it might be like some kind of fungal disease, because apparently even if you remove it, if there's like one spore left or something like that, it'll just grow right back. But either way, this is a huge problem because apparently this was spread at the Toronto Zoo and now it's being seen in 30 plus countries. Something this... I don't have to teach you about diseases, all right? If you're alive watching this video, you've been through COVID and you understand how quickly these things can spread. But it seems we are not without hope because Oompy Jr. is very heavily wanted. And it seems to be because his body secretes something that can fight off this disease or prevent him from getting sick from it. Now, I guess it's interesting, like, did Oompy Jr. spread this disease? I would guess so, right? Because Oompy, well, not his actual dad, died from it. So I guess Oompy was the one that spread it, but also has the cure to it. Now, come on. We know how this is gonna work, right? If GPAC gets their hands on Oompy Jr., Oompy Jr. is probably going to die for them to end up getting this cure that could be secreted from him. But thanks to this patient here, this is the guy that set Oompy Jr. free. So shout out to him, but at the same time, there's a chance that humanity might not die out from the prehistoric creatures or from the gods, but from just a disease. Because if this continues to spread and a cure isn't made, this might be GG for humanity, which would be kind of interesting considering that, you know, there's so many things going on, but this smaller thing that was caused by all these massive events is going to be the death of humanity. But what's also really weird to me is the fact that Oompy Jr. isn't actually Oompy Jr. You know, we learned that Oompy was in the Toronto Zoo and then Oompy Jr. was the child, and it just made sense. But apparently that was just branding and they were kind of put together. So that makes you wonder, is there more to that? Or is it just like the Toronto Zoo went and grabbed some woolly mammoths and, you know, they just made it look like that they were parents and child? Or is there something more to it? I know that during the stream when we were watching these videos, we tossed around the idea of what if the witness that the gods referred to in a past video is actually Oompy Jr. and not the Daba? There is possibly a chance of that. We know that they definitely can't both be the witness because the witness is specifically referred to as one single thing or animal. The Daba, I think, would be more likely to be the witness because the Daba is a one-of-a-kind creature that we have never seen before. And it would be kind of random, I guess, to just make this younger woolly mammoth a witness. But at the same time, it could be that the Daba is kind of like a distraction for us, you know? Like, we, as the viewer, we're meant to think the Daba is the witness, but really, it's this small child here. And it makes so much sense that that would be the test to see what humanity does. Here, the gods are going to present you with this creature, which is going to make everybody sick. But what are you going to do to stop that sickness? Are you going to kill this thing? Are you going to hurt it? Or are you going to figure out some other way to prevent this sickness? Well, we know damn well what humanity is going to do. They're going to try to pull an Ellie on her and, you know, destroy Oompy Jr. I say this every episode. Things are just getting worse and worse. It was bad enough that prehistoric creatures were just emerging, but now GPAC isn't seeming like the good guys that they were. And I really am starting to sympathize more with these prehistoric creatures and rely on the fact that humanity just needs to adapt to all the new situations. It's going to completely change the lifestyle of all of humanity, but it seems to be better to just change our lifestyle to work around these creatures rather than attempting to kill them all, because I don't think they're going anywhere, especially since GPAC or nobody else is really going to have the funds or the defense to get rid of all of these things. Especially with GPAC being the way they are now, I'm definitely not in support of that. They're just killing innocent creatures just for the sake of killing them, even when they're not even affecting anything. RIP Arthur, I did think you were creepy looking, but man, you didn't deserve to die. And especially, who knows what they're doing with the prehistoric sympathizers now, because they imply that Antoine is not just going to a detention center, but maybe something worse might be happening to him. And this isn't even to mention that apparently we just got the news that the deep holes and the blue holes are causing even worse problems. They're causing blackouts, and they're causing, rising in water levels. It seems that the gods are not at all being merciful with us, which, considering their perspective, makes sense. Another very clear and obvious thing that I want to add here is just, I've said this throughout the video as well probably, but the production value, man. AZUN is the GOAT. From going from the AI generated first episodes to these insane productions now. I mean, we're getting POVs of guys in jets fighting these prehistoric creatures. We're getting, he's making up AI apps now that humanity would use, which, let's be real, humanity would do exactly that. They would create some kind of AI app to fight off the emergence. And we're getting these stories about these individual people and their creatures and how they're trying to deal with these things. And it is incredible. And it all is helping feed the overall story arc that we're getting here. I love to see it, man. I love to see just the increased production of this series, especially since we've started it. But I think it is time we talk to the man himself, the creator of this series, AZUNStudios. I asked you guys on a recent community post what kind of questions you'd like me to ask him, and I've compiled quite a few. Now, I'm going to be real with you. None of them are going to spoil the story, all right? I'm not asking him, when are the gods going to come and actually crush humanity, okay? Let's be real. We're not trying to spoil the series, but we could ask about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and other stuff like that. So I hope you enjoy this new segment that we're going to be adding to this video. If you guys do enjoy this, I will be sure to add it to more series and try to talk to even more creators of other analog horrors. So, all right. On to the Q&A. All right, so I'm here with the man himself, AZUNStudios. Welcome.
Thank you, Marcus. Happy to be here.
This is my first time doing this, so hopefully this goes well. But we got some questions for you here today. Some of them were asked by some of my viewers, and then some of them I made myself. But I think we'll all be very interested in your answers to them.
Okay, let's go for it. I'm ready.
My first question for you is, what inspired you to make Prehistoric Emergence?
So what inspired me to make Prehistoric Emergence? What's interesting is this answer, do get sometimes when I do the Q&A and it changes. I change my answer every time because I feel like what inspired me at the start is so different than what inspires me now. At the very beginning, it was actually Subnautica more than anything. I really wanted to capture the feeling of the Reaper Leviathan, in the darkness when you hear its noise.
That is awesome. That I'm a huge Subnautica fan, so that's amazing to hear.
Yeah, so at the beginning it was that. Actually, if Prehistoric Emergence never did well, I was going to move on to Subnautica and Helldiver fan content. That's a little fun fact too. But now it's more so God of War than anything. I really like the way God of War tells its story and does the world building, which is kind of crazy. I think people are expecting Jurassic Park, but it's actually more so God of War and Subnautica, a combination of the two.
It's definitely very, I would say I agree. I would expect it to be Jurassic Park or something like that, but that also totally makes sense because like you said about Subnautica and God of War, with how in-depth all that is. So that's very interesting. I don't think anybody would have guessed that to be the answer.
Well, God of War, because it has that mythology themes, but the characters still have a human feel to them. That's kind of the new direction where there's a cosmic scale, but we're looking at it from a grounded view. It's not like Kratos is punching holes in planets, right? He's still this guy who has to run around and eat. But the scale of the story is cosmic. And then Subnautica is more so just the first episode and the creepy themes. That's pretty much it, I guess. District 9 a little bit if you've seen that. It's a pretty underrated movie.
Love District 9.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in ages, but I think the way they treat the aliens, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the prehistoric creatures a little bit too.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, those are the three things I'm most inspired by. Jurassic Park, obviously a little bit, but surprisingly not top 3 inspirations yet.
Yeah, I definitely expected that to be in the top, but that's really cool that those were your answers. My next question is definitely going to be, I think, super important to a lot of the viewers because I know a lot of my subscribers want to make their own series or try to create something on their own. So what is the process of making an episode of Prehistoric Emergence?
Usually it starts with me when I go to bed. I kind of just think about the episode. So I have like the whole story, like the general story thought up of, and I'll go to sleep and I'll kind of think about what the next episode should be. And when I wake up, I'll like write down just bullet points, and I'll talk it out with my cousin or something. And then once I kind of have a general, very like high level structure, I'll go into like the script writing. And I use a waterfall system, which is basically you write in depth a couple scenes, shoot those scenes, and then you start writing more and you kind of sprinkle some editing in there. So, you don't write the whole thing out. You just write out like maybe the first half or the first quarter. That way you can see some of the finished product before you finish the whole script. And you're like, oh wait, this actually sucks. So to get more in depth, so script writing I just do on Google Docs, nothing super fancy there. I'll also throw really low budget like storyboards together before I start shooting for like the animators. Sometimes we'll even start the animation without even just like the footage. Then I'll go out and record it, and then I'll send that to the animators, and while they're animating, I'll record more, edit some, and it's kind of like a nice waterfall cycle. I find that to be the quickest, even though the videos still take months to come out sometimes.
That is really interesting that you described like this waterfall way of doing it, because I always expect like, people just write it out front to back and then they go and shoot it. But I think it's a good idea to do it that way, because like you said, you get to see like if it actually looks good or not, or if it just sucks. Because I think that's, in my case of like making things, I always like write it out front to back. I go to film it and I'm like, wait, that actually sucks. Like that was so much better in my head. And it doesn't look good. So that's a good way of doing it.
Actually, I realized I misspoke. The waterfall cycles when you just do script and that and that. It's called, it's from software engineering. It's called the Scrum, is where you do all the steps and just iterate it constantly. So it's more like a spiral, I guess. But I did have the same experience as you, where like Vessel of Terror, I shot a scene with like, the first Vessel of Terror iteration was so bad. Like there was no chemistry between Gray and Patch. They were just there to kind of like kill some creatures, and that was it. And I'm happy I got to shoot like the beginning and realize how bad it was going to turn out before I finished the script. Because like their scenes were literally just like, what do you think it is? It's like, oh, it's not a Quetzalcoatlus. And then that's like the whole thing. And then they kind of go outside. So, when I get to see it, I'm like, how would I judge this as an analog horror? I'm like, I didn't like it. So I got to reshoot it, rewrite the beginning parts. And that kind of spiraled into like their ending conversations and stuff, which I was happy with. So usually the beginning is the hardest part to get done. That's what I find.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. That's so interesting that there was a version of Vessel of Terror that didn't have so much of that dynamic, because I know that's like a fan favorite, is the two of them talking and their conversations and like this mini arc that they go through in that episode. So that's crazy to know that we almost couldn't have had that at some point.
No, so the original version, like 2 sentences, was just they were gonna get a call, go in the house, and you're gonna get this like kind of purposely slow burn just view of soldiers like setting up equipment. But it's also back when I didn't realize I could have a budget. I could optimize my budget to pull off like cooler stuff. And it was just gonna be they were hunting a Quetzalcoatlus and they would kill it, and then Hatzagopteryx would come in. And I'm like, wait, I just did this like in the news episode, like Beast of the Earth. I'm like, why am I doing this a second time? And then the whole thing was gonna be that there's gonna be a creature in the background that was actually a hidden threat, but there's still no story. And then I don't know what happened. I think just one day I came home, I'm like, let me just try making like a bit of a story here. And then, yeah, I just kicked off. It was just one random night.
Dude, that worked out so well, because that is, I mean, I'm going to sound biased because I was in the beginning, but yeah. It's still one of my favorite episodes, because it felt like I was watching a mini movie with that one. And I feel like that just, it again goes to show just how much you've developed just over the course of you doing this series. It really is incredible.
I appreciate that. Actually, what's funny, Marcus, is your cameo at the beginning, that scene was also way different originally. It was going to be 2 kids playing soccer. It's actually, it's just so corny. So like to refresh, Marcus's scene is he's cooking Camerosaurus, or he's actually not cooking, he's eating it frozen. Which is, yeah, crazy. But yeah. And then he basically, he thinks his wife is coming inside, but it's actually Utahraptor mimicking him, and it eats his kid, and then presumably eats him, which is why Gray comes in. I was a huge fan of that scene. But the original scene was going to be like 2 kids, or like, I don't know, I think it was still going to be you. But they were just playing soccer and they kick the ball and they just hear a creature and it like sprints and like kills them. I was originally going to be like, oh, I don't want to show it yet because that's going to be like more expensive. But then I did get the budget. And I also kind of think like a lot of people think the fear is what you can't see. But I think for dinosaurs, the fear is what you very much can see. Like, these things are out there. They're already terrifying. There's no point in hiding them. Like when you're their prey, they want you. I mean, they don't really want you to see them, but they don't care. you were easy prey. You were just shocked standing still.
That is a really good point. They are just, yeah, you don't really need to feed on that, like, oh, what is it kind of thing, because they're just horrifying just the way they look.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that like the horror in which like when it's unknown, you can kind of get away with not showing it. But dinosaurs, I feel like it's more scary when you can see them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree on that.
Also, yeah, just doing an audio like roar was kind of lame, even though the soccer idea was okay.
I mean, that is, I mean, I never think about like when I'm watching these final videos that you make, like how many different iterations they must have gone through before you get that. It's something that you just never think about from a viewing perspective. So it's really cool to hear all this, like all the different ways that things could have went.
Oh man, yeah, and it's crazy just how much, like, you know, the story was obviously going to be much shorter, which I know it's probably going to be, you're probably going to ask about how long it's going to be, but the story was going to be so much shorter and it's so much lamer too, I won't even lie. So I am happy I spent more time on the series. I think it's just one night you just kicked in, I needed to put in more effort, and I think it paid off.
I think it definitely paid off.
Yeah, no, the original story was just going to be the constant like new species get introduced until like the ending. Actually, I won't spoil it because that has some of similar elements to what the ending is going to currently be, but it was just gonna go on from final boss to final boss, and then the Dabo had like a really, really short storyline that went nowhere. I don't even know why I thought of it. But yeah, the iterations, they're important. Like, just go through as many iterations as it takes. I promise it's worth it.
My next question for you would be, how do you decide what creatures you add to the series? Because obviously there's so many things that you could go through that you add. What makes you specifically choose what ends up in the episodes?
Yeah, that's interesting because a lot have been scrapped too. Yeah, I would say this, like usually before any creature's picked, there's like 3 creatures I thought that would take its place. Newer episodes is kind of, this is such a hard question to ask. I feel like it's instinct almost. It's really what fits the story and fits a present day dynamic. So the Quetzalcoatlus were picked for the jet scene, obviously because they can fly, but also because I thought the idea of their bodies falling out of the sky could cause some issues. And it causes like this online debate if like the pilot was right to kill it and save a city, or if she, you know, instead of killing that family of 4, because currently he killed it and it fell and it killed a family of 4, but if he didn't do anything, it would have invaded a city. So the Quetzalcoatlus, yeah, it's like architecture fits that dynamic so well. Utahraptor specifically for Vessel of Terror, there's like a couple other, like I said, the Quetzalcoatlus is going to take its place. But the idea that it can mimic was going to throw off soldiers. And you can only really do that once before the soldiers catch on. But that initial, like, this encounter with a mimic is going to really throw them off. It's going to... That's kind of how the dinosaurs stand a chance against guns, is because you think you're going towards a human. It's actually a Utahraptor.
That is... I would say a sub-question in this would be, do you have already, like, a ton of knowledge on these creatures, and then you kind of, like, in your head just go through them? Or is it usually, like, you think of a situation and then you have to go online and see if you find a creature that kind of matches what you want to do?
So I would say a little bit of both. Towards the start, so when I was like when I was younger, right? Like I'm 22 right now for context. So when I was like, I don't know, something before 12, like I was super into prehistory, and I still am. But life kind of goes on, and I fell out of it a little bit. Like when I went to college, I was just so focused. And then I made the video to research it myself again. I got some things wrong. And I'm sure, as you know, when you get things wrong, people get really upset. So now I actually really researched. So then when I got back into it, there's like people were, you know, this is my Prehistoric Emergence was like my first video that did well. And I realized just how much I started to enjoy actually like incorporating prehistoric creatures, but I didn't know much at the time. So episodes 1, 2, and 3, I was learning as I went on. But I had also been exploring other creatures. So now I have like a catalog I pick out, like basically pick from. But I don't try to, like, this might disappoint people. Like I do care about accuracy of the creatures, mostly in how they look. But I would say something like mimicking is speculative biology. Like it's not confirmed. I also do like that idea. It adds more spice to the series. Like Arthur wasn't, Arthropleura were real, but the Arthropleura he was with the ladybug, the Borealis, they're not real. Arthropleura that survived the cold is like just a speculation in my mind that maybe those existed. So I kind of went through this phase of I didn't know much. I learned and I was picking out of my catalog, and now I'm trying to spice it up by adding this element. Mimicking has been done before. I won't take entire credit for that. I try to go for more of a paired interpretation of the mimicking. Before it was more like croaky and more like intended to be scary. This one was more just trying to be accurate with how birds sound. So it's a blend of speculative biology and what I think is going to be accurate. I try to add spices in what you can't actually figure out about prehistoric creatures. Like you can't figure out what fossils we didn't find. There's the color of their skin, maybe some abilities they had, like mimicking. So that's where I've kind of gone to. But for the most part, I do know about a lot of creatures. There's one I learned about that I'm so excited to bring into the series. I don't know when I'll do it, and no one talks about it too. So there's a lot of these like really niche ones I have yet to even pull off. But I haven't been learning about new ones as much. Like there's a Kraken that got explored, so I feel like I've kind of gotten to like a good knowledge base just on the top of my head. Now when I'm like writing the new videos, I like know which creatures can show up. Like I already have like 3 picked out immediately.
I think that the speculative biology is really huge, because that even if you are like, you know, an expert on the creatures walking in, like that throws in like a wrench in there of like what could happen. Because I know there are so many viewers that have watched my videos of Prehistoric Emergence. They are already experts on specific ones. And they'll like point out things like, oh well, it could do this, but then you throwing that in there makes it just so much more refreshing for them as well, I'm sure, because it's just something you can't predict outright.
Oh, and I'm sure it upsets some people too. Like I know some people are really upset about the whole mimicking thing.
Oh, I mean,
yeah, that's to be expected.
Yeah, it is to be. You know, no matter what you do, at some point, like somebody's gonna find a problem with something, sadly.
And I think one of the cooler ideas I had that I'm still expanding upon is like the Quetzalcoatlus. If you guys don't know, is actually supposed to be a solitary hunter. That's what we still think it is to this day. But in this world, they're being mass hunted to the point where they're grouping together out of instinct, and that's speculative biology that they could even, you know, tolerate each other and not try to kill each other. So that's the type of stuff I guess you wouldn't think about, but a lot of the animals like forming groups, like in the Primordial Crusades, there's a larger theropod and the Dilos from the scene where they're attacking all the soldiers, like in that still frame. They're grouping up together just because they know they have a higher chance of surviving. Like they found some sort of like symbiosis in that sense. And that'll be explored more, which I'm excited about. I think it's kind of cool that they're almost forming their own groups and not attacking each other as much now because of humans. I just think it happens in real life too sometimes. There's terms for it. I don't remember off the top of my head. Defensive aggregation, that's one term.
My next question for you, which would be, which creature has been the hardest to make videos for / animate?
I'm actually curious what you think it'll be, because I feel like you might actually be able to guess it.
Well, I guess like a sub question for this is like, see, I'm not even sure too much of how the animation process works, but when you're doing something like Arthur, right? And Arthur's like his own thing that you are, you know, making with like the colors that he is I'm sure that has to add some difficulty to it too, right?
See, you did guess the hardest one to animate. It was Arthur. Okay. Yeah, so the modeling is a little different. That's always like modeling. So I'm not going to take credit, so I hire some people. They're credited in all my videos if you guys want to check it out. So the modeling is not always super difficult. It's very time consuming. When we do it, like for Arthur, we have to change the colors. And then the animation, that's the interesting one to talk about, because for Arthur, he has so many legs, and that type of movement, with a hard shell, it's not exactly like a millipede or a centipede. It's kind of unique, and there's like very few references. There's one documentary where his like creature was featured, the Arthur Plura were featured, and there's just so much to animate too. We did eventually figure it out, but I think just the first scene took like a month. That was a little painful. Yeah, that project was like way longer. It was only supposed to be 5 minutes, and I kept adding more and more scenes to it. He was hard to animate. Mostly the scenes where he was standing and like wiggling his legs, and also just crawling on the wall took a long time too. Let me think. So T-Rexes are actually easier to animate because they're just bipedal. Anything that's bipedal is a little easier because they're just moving 2 legs, and their arms are so tiny, like the animation doesn't even really matter that much there. The Dabo, we had a good time animating. That was smooth. And I'm trying to think. The Quetzalcoatlus is surprisingly smooth too, because it flies. The crawling would be hard because it's walking on 4 legs. Quetzalcoatlus on T-Rex are surprisingly easier for being some of the coolest creatures in the series. Utahraptor is also a bit easier. It's really mostly Arthur that was like giving us some sass. Direwolf too. It's rig. So basically the rig is like the animation bones. That's just the easiest way to explain it. It was very broken for the direwolf, so we kind of had to just make do with what we had, and it worked out because you only saw it from a distance, so you couldn't really see the broken rig as much. But that was a tough one. Also, because you see wolves, you can see them in a zoo, so knowing what it looks like, you have to animate it much better because it's not really as fictional of a creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you guys making? I mean, I feel like you guys are making all of these assets yourself, right? Like from scratch?
Some are public use and modified, and we just credit the person. Like I've asked them for permission. So Yeah, some of them are even like from mods too, which is kind of crazy. And then again, we credit those, but some were made from scratch. Hatzegopteryx, actually, I don't think that one was. I thought it was originally. I'm trying to think, what do we make from scratch? I know there's something I'm just forgetting. The Utahraptor is made from scratch. It's actually one of my favorite models we've done. Sabertooth is also made from scratch. I do want to get more into that. So it's actually very expensive to make 3D models by scratch. So Beast of the Earth was I think my most expensive video, even though it may have not had the most CGI screen time, or maybe it did. It was the hardest video to make, I believe, just in terms of budget. So I'm a little more careful with it now. I prefer to collaborate with other artists who have already made the models and we can come in and tweak them. As the series grows, we're going to make more and more original models too. I just can't think off the top of my head which one's like, I've been doing, it's been like going on for almost 2 years now, so I almost forget sometimes.
No, that's totally fair. There's so many creatures and things that have been introduced at this point. I totally get it.
Yeah, yeah, a lot. And it also depends how much the creature shows up. If it shows up more, we're likely to make a model for it. If it shows up just in one frame, it's easier to collaborate with some artists.
My next question for you would be, what's been your favorite episode to make and why?
This is a fun question. So my mom's favorite, actually, not to make, my mom hasn't made any of the episodes. I'm just bringing it up because I love this episode too. Her favorite episode was the Arthur episode. She's so attached to that. To this day, my mom still asks where Arthur is. I don't think she realized he died. She's still like, when's he gonna come back? When's Ansel gonna come back? And you know, there will be there will be a sort of continuation, but it's not like he's dead. Arthur's dead. So that was a little tough for my mom to grasp. And that was one of the smoothest episodes in terms of production, other than the first month of animating Arthur. It was pretty smooth. It was nice. Things went well in the shoots. The wearing the costumes is always just it's a little tedious because it's really hot in there. The masks, we got to get better, like thinner masks, but then also it shows your lips and it looks weird. So it's it's a balance. So I think that was probably the episode, I would say, it's my second favorite episode to make. Vessel Terror is my first, because the only thing with Vessel Terror is I also struggled the most, and it broke me halfway through because we would literally come to the shoot, we would film for like 2 hours and the sun would set and we'd still only have like a quarter of the scene done. That was my first ever like filming experience, like pretty much actually trying cinematography and everything. And these like random shots, right? There's one shot where it's behind a tree bark and you see the car driving in front of you. Like I had to get out of the car. My cousin had to drive a loop around the neighborhood, come back, and it would just take like 10 minutes. And then the sun would keep setting and we have to move faster and faster. And then we have to walk like 15 minutes in a forest. And there'd be some nights where like some, adulthood hits you and something comes up and you have to cancel your shoot, or like weather hits you. And it was just frustrating me so bad. And then also the heat too. It was in summer. We were wearing those outfits. It was crazy. But when we watched the final product, we were so happy that we went through all of that. I would do that one all over again. It had to have been the most physical pain. I think when we finished the final scene in the forest where Patch dies, that took like hours. I could probably do a lot faster now that I'm more skilled. But when we walked back, I had this feeling I've never felt. It was like beyond tiredness, beyond dread, beyond sweat and like heat. It was like a combination of all of them. It was just like a soul ache. I felt soul ache a little bit.
I mean, I feel like it sucks because you have to go through something like that to just get better in the whole process. But I mean, definitely worth it because the product for that was amazing. And I feel like that for me was like the big episode where it was like, okay, this is now, it feels almost like beyond just like what it was before. And I feel like there's now in the future episodes, there's just so much potential for things. Because that was, again, like a small, I know for GPAC, that was like a larger situation, but in like the grand scope of things, it was like 2 GPAC guys and the Utahraptors. And it's like you did such a great job making that a whole like mini movie in that small situation. So there's just I feel like it's just unlimited potential for what you could do next after that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like the mini movies will come back. I'm working on one I may tease at the end of this Q&A. I'm still writing it. I was gonna mention, I feel like I had something to bring up, but I totally forgot whatever it was. Oh yes, yeah, I think that's the fear is like of AI, is this experience I had with Soul Lake made the process so worth it. And when I was using AI, like in the first like couple episodes, like I did experience the fact that I wasn't as attached to my own series. Like when the first episode came out, it was just this cool thing, and like that's it. It was just this cool thing, and I was like, okay, let me make the second one. And I was pretty much just only on my laptop. But the experience of going out and like location scouting, it's hard as an adult. Like I'm sure you can imagine. And to the adults watching this, like, you know how much time it takes just to, you know, like when you're back from a shift or from school and you have to go out in the middle of the forest and figure out where you're going to get attacked by a dire wolf, just how long that takes. But I think that's the fear people have, that AI will take that experience. And I could say from using both, I definitely prefer like going out and filming. Like I could have never pulled off that stuff with the Tabo or Gray or Patch if I had just used AI. Like it would never have come out as well. So that's the conclusion. I never really got to talk about the story. I do want to eventually talk more about my story with AI. I think it could be cool for some people to hear. But this is like a mini story about that.
I know a lot of people really like admire the fact that you went from AI and then now, you know, the series is in the place where it's at now. So it's actually very interesting to hear how you felt more disconnected and now you like enjoy the experience of how you're creating it now. Yeah,
I guess the only thing is like sometimes I think back to like when I could just, you know, show more creatures a little quicker with like less money. And there is temptation, like I won't lie, there is temptation to go back to that, but I just know it's not going to bring me what I want at the end of the day, like the experience of filming and like the narrative story. It's just because like in terms of being a YouTuber, it's more efficient, but you know, you don't really get that soul food as much when you're using AI. It feels pretty like soulless.
I guess I'm kind of speaking for you here, but it's just the amount of time that it all takes. I can't even imagine like to, you know, just write out all the episodes, like you said, location scouting, then having to get them animated.
Yeah. I mean, it would be great if I can make this my full-time thing, which, you know, maybe it could happen someday. So, but you know, the thing is like, yeah, like I think back to the AI videos too. And I just realized like that would never be fun to keep that going forever either. Like that would probably feel a lot worse. Like I get to actually explore my own city more and I have the videos to thank for that. And it's also like a fun hangout with my friends too, whenever they come, put on the costumes. It's an experience. We get to like record some BTS and there's stories to tell, right? That's the thing, is you want stories to tell when you're making a video. Like I could not tell you that many stories in episode 1 and 2 because there really wasn't much to say, unfortunately. Like I wish there was. But yeah, I think that's pretty much why I stopped using AI. Don't know how we got there, but I did.
No, I mean, I appreciate it. I think the audience is definitely going to like to hear that. What would you say is your favorite prehistoric creature?
You know, you could definitely branch it out between like aquatic and land. I would say the Meg is my favorite childhood. Like growing up, I love the Megalodon the most. And yes, people have been asking me about the Meg. I do want it to return. It's just really hard to figure out ocean stuff because of the CGI, and like naturally the story's a little harder to figure out because humans aren't always in the ocean as much as they are on land. And the Meg is something I like really want to do with the modern day production I have. So I would say growing up the Meg. Now it's kind of the Utahraptor and the Quetzalcoatlus. I think the Quetzalcoatlus a little more because I'm pretty proud of the story I came up with it. I came up for it. The Utahraptor's like, it's cool, but it's been done justice. You do see it. You see raptors in some movies. Quetzalcoatlus, it still has so much untapped potential. Even I have to tap into. Like I want to do a found footage or even have it in a narrative story. They're just so cool. They fly, they crawl. I don't even know if you know this, Marcus, but they can sprint really fast. Like they can crawl really fast, like faster than a human can run. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they're just like, they're nightmare fuel. They just don't even seem like they're from this planet entirely. So they're definitely, I'd say they're number 1. I could say Utahraptor and Meg are fighting for 2. And the T-Rex is cool. That's pretty much everyone's favorite. So I feel like that's not the answer people want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very like worldwide favorite.
Yeah. And I know so many people love the Spinosaurus. I've like definitely heard about that. And I'm a big fan of it too. Just throw that out there. I'm actually curious what your favorite is.
Man, I don't want to be basic and say the T-Rex. Like you said. You know, interestingly enough, I don't want to get its prehistoric name wrong, but Arthur.
Arthur Pleura,
yeah, the Arthur Pleura. I don't know if you kind of saw my arc there in the reaction. Like when I first saw it, I was like, this thing is terrifying. It's giving me like that you know, arachnophobic like spider kind of vibe for me. But by the end, I almost feel attached to it because of everything that's gone on. And I feel so bad that it went out that I'm like, damn, that I think about it more and more since I've watched the episode. I'm like, that might be one of my favorites there.
Yeah, my sister's pretty upset when I killed Arthur.
I can imagine.
I showed her the videos like as they're being produced, and then she had like a month of seeing it, and then Arthur just dies out of the blue, and she's like, "What?" And your reaction to seeing it for the first time, I was actually laughing out loud as I was watching that. The facial expressions you made, you were not happy when you saw that.
No,
you were
because-
hoping it was a dinosaur, probably.
Dude,
Anything else?
If Arthur ended up killing him, then I that's what I expected, honestly, because I was like, oh, he's defending Arthur, he's saying that Arthur's fine, but it's actually gonna end up killing him, and he's gonna be like the first death. But then like when G-Pack knocks on the door, I was like, wait, hold on. I don't like where this is going at all. And yeah, that really upset me. That really did upset me. My whole like view on G-Pack is turned after that.
Yeah, they're definitely they're very questionable in their actions. Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes people in my comments actually argue about who's right, G-Pack or the prehistoric sympathizers.
I honestly think you've created like a great debate in that.
I think my favorite debate is probably the Quetzalcoatlus falling on the car, because there is no right answer. It's just trading lives. Yeah, I have my own opinions on Arthur's situation. I definitely did not think he was done pretty dirty. I guess I can understand why some people think prehistory has got to go at the same time. I can understand that point of view as well. I'm going to keep it a little hidden in my true thoughts because I don't want to spoil where the story's going to go, but I understand everybody's point of view. But those specific G-Pack officers are definitely very morally gray. Like you should not be too supportive of those two guys. They did not do something good.
Yep, completely agree there. Completely agree.
Yeah, and what's really interesting, it's outside this question, Arthur was actually going to be Oompy originally. So that's something you guys should know. That was going to be Oompy, but what happened? So for Oompy, it was going to be a blend of what we saw with the latest episode and Arthur's storyline, but it just seems so incredibly stupid for like a protagonist to like harbor a creature that they should easily suspect is carrying some sort of prehistoric pathogen. I just could not justify that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the France stuff is actually not a side story. It's going to be pretty relevant, and especially in this newest episode. It's not really about France, but it's going to explore the aftermath a bit. So I'm like, this is knocking out two birds with one stone, and Oompy can have his own story, but Oompy will also return too. There's a lot of storylines to juggle. It's gonna come together. I wish I like actually did this full time so I can bring all the storylines together quicker.
Yeah, that's what I think is so like interesting about the series is you start off a storyline like when Oompy's first introduced, like, oh, like, woolly mammoth at the zoo, and then it like turns into this bigger and bigger event, and then it's at this point in the story there's so many different situations going on, which I just love so much. And you could tell like they're all connected already loosely, but I feel like I could see them already all coming closer together.
Yeah, I think that'll be a big moment when like, I can't spoil stuff. It's the hardest thing to do is wait for the audience to get to to see some of the reveals I had planned. But I'm coming to the point where this next episode is like, it's huge. Like I'm at the point of no return with the story. Like there's going to be big stuff happening. It's also a little nerve-wracking too, because I'm like, with the other episodes I could afford some failures. I'm like, if people hate this episode, so what? It's just happening in like this one place. But this next one, it is still like it's what I said about God of War. It's like not cosmic, but like worldly scale from a grounded point of view. But like some of the stuff I'm gonna like reveal, it's an arc actually. I shouldn't say just single episode. That is the hardest thing, is to balance all these stories. I think right now it's more of an anthology, but it's gonna kind of blend together and be more of a narrative. Even now, I've actually considered having episodes feature multiple storylines, like certain characters' returns. I will not say yet. It's just in tandem. But when they don't connect, it feels like I'm just trying to mimic a Netflix show a little too hard, or like, I don't know, like Invincible with Omni-Man and Mark having like two different storylines. Like I think everything should just have its own time and place for YouTube, at least.
This is I know, like one of the biggest questions, and if you don't want to answer this or you can't answer this, I totally understand. But do you have any idea how many seasons or around how many episodes the series will have? And do you have like a set story already in your mind? I guess you did answer this one already, but do you have a set story already in your mind, or are you slowly developing it as you go?
So I have a blueprint that changes a lot. Like I have a loose idea of all the character arcs, like what's going to happen in the ending. But even just today, I've like considered a completely new factor to the ending. So I would say, I mean, I hate to like say Marvel as a comparison because they're like a corporate company to some extent. But the same way they like did never plan Civil War and it was going to be like secret society, that stuff happens too. Where like I will plan something and I'll see a video that inspires me and I'll completely change it, but I'm still working in the same direction. So I'd say it's a very high level plot planned out, but I'm not coming up with things as I go. there's hints as to what's going to come, but I'm very subtle with it. Sometimes I wonder if I should hint at like future plotlines more, but I also don't want to tease you guys and make you wait like a year, which I already do sometimes. So I'm not trying to do that all the time with every single plotline. But as for how many episodes and seasons, I don't know about episodes because I'm actually lately considering doing more just like small episodes to like try to think of like maybe I wanted to like do a little maybe ad for like a creature like a that you can keep in like a fish tank. I was debating that. Yeah, just like short episodes. But seasons, I hate to say this. I know sometimes people hate when stories never end. I have so much stuff planned. I am going through it a little faster than I was before. Like I'm just jumping to the more important parts of the story now. But I would say like, I don't even know if I'm halfway through yet because I have so much planned for the Daba that it hasn't happened. But I would say it's safe to say we're maybe getting close to halfway, but I can't even confirm that yet. I would say like the Daba's gonna have like a whole arc that hasn't really started yet. We've got like one scene of him, but maybe I'll go for more of like a movie style where like a lot of things happen at once rather than making you guys wait too long. So we'll see. But I'm gonna say it's gonna at least be like a 7 season or like 8 season thing. I just like growing with the series. I like the series growing as I mature through time. And I'm just having so much fun doing it. I low-key just don't want to end it yet.
I mean, listen, we are glad to hear that.
Yeah, I want you guys to grow up with the series a bit. It's gonna be one of those like longer ones, but I am also a fan of my own series. So when I feel like it's stretching on, it's just never ending. I will probably work towards the ending a little faster. There are times too where I'm like, as a fan, I'm like, I want to see more of this and that, and I try to write that in that direction too. So I do think of it from a fan's point of view as well.
Well, that is great to hear. There was a fear where maybe you were going to be like, oh, we're getting like 75% of the way through, and I would have been like, damn.
Now, there's just so much buildup for like the ending. I think there has to be so much payoff too. I have some whack stuff planned. Some of it I'm not even sure if I can like, I don't know. It's going to raise some eyebrows. That's what I'll tell you guys. Like the Arthur stuff is like the least bizarre thing that's going to happen.
Do you have any plans to make any other series during or after Prehistoric Emergence?
So I would say during, yes. I had plans. Me and my cousin were talking about doing I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, a fan film, but I'm not huge on doing fan content because you also, I don't know, like it could get demonetized at any point of view. And I think, we need more original stories. Like I love some modern day games, but remakes are a huge thing now and reboots are a huge thing now. I think we just need more original ideas. But that was one idea. So I mean, maybe if you guys really want to see it, I'd tackle it. And there's a series I made called Back Home, which was like the first ever like horror video I ever did. And it was stop motion, like creepy pictures, like people that look like their skin was flayed. There's like a story I had in mind for it, and I kind of want to continue it. And I want to try to bring in some comedy into horror, but not satire, more just like it's actually creepy, but the main character or the main creature is like also funny. I want to tackle something super bizarre like that, where you can have a laugh and also like shit yourself at the same time.
It does sound very interesting.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to tackle. And of course, there's like a lot of cinematic stuff, like All Tomorrows. Is that what it's called, I believe? Yeah, that was brought up too, like the one where the aliens like use humans as like playthings and make them into like creatures. Yeah, so there's been a couple things. And one idea I want to throw out there, and it's the last one I'll bring up, is I was thinking of doing a documentary about like a world in which everyone lost their memory at the same time and the world just lost color. And the only way they know about color is through like history books or just books mentioning color. And you kind of have to see the world, like what happens to the world when it loses color. Like some animals will die off because they relied on color. And just some people lose jobs. It's just really like simple things. And I debated maybe some monsters should be in there, but I don't know. That's something I can't figure out, is like if I want to do something more cosmic with it or if I want to just leave it as a human story. But I would definitely be interested in feedback on that idea because I am so willing to do that soon. I just can't figure out if it's like exciting, if it's just a documentary about the consequences of losing color. That's a big one.
Does sound really interesting. So that would that be like a one-off video you'd make?
Yeah, I wouldn't commit to a huge series, but I was thinking like maybe something longer that wouldn't necessarily need a lot of CGI, but it would just be like people's accounts, like world building, right? Just different people's perspectives on the world losing color. Just maybe like 120 to 30 minute video. And I did have a idea for a creature that has like a sunflower head, and it's not the undead, but it's the unborn, where they're actually not born yet, but they're somehow in our time, and what they want to do is just take care of themselves when they're a baby. And I was thinking of trying to blend the ideas, but I just didn't know if there's like a good connection or if it's just doing it for the sake of doing it. So I need feedback with that. But it's in the works, something like that. Maybe they're two separate ideas, but I want to throw that up there in case I just never end up doing it.
That does sound very interesting. I'm actually really happy to hear that you're open to doing other types of work, because I feel like a lot of creators do end up more getting stuck into their series. Not that it's a bad thing, but I feel like they might just prefer waiting until their series is over instead of like trying to even attempt to do anything else because of like, you know, the pressure of the viewers and everything like that. But it's very cool to hear that you're open to doing different things.
I guess my dilemma is that like I would never be able to put in the same production value because, hey, I mean, I have to thank you guys because my series is actually like the budget is getting bigger and bigger every episode. So thank you for that. I don't suspect that would happen if I released a non-Prehistoric Emergence video and put the same budget in. So that's my dilemma, is how much effort and budget I can put in. And that's something I'm still figuring out to this day, because I would love to tell those stories with no expectations. People would not, like, I would get a large audience for it. But I also, you know, I would want the story to still be on the same level as Prehistoric Emergence. I just can't figure out how to do that yet. It's a bit of a hole. I'm sure you can understand this too, because you mentioned, struggling to do non-analog horror stuff. It's that same trap that I'm trying to figure out how to crawl out of.
It's definitely, that's like such a the YouTube problem.
Yeah, I just need to have fun with it too. Just fun with like making stories and not worry too much. Yeah, it's just I mean, you get it. It's like time is, you know, to some extent time is money. Not that all I care about is money, but it matters when you're trying to stay afloat.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when, like you need money to help push your, you know, creative endeavors forward.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to work towards this being a full-time thing, which I don't think, I'm not super close, but not absurdly far. And you guys are helping a tremendous amount. So thank you for that again. Let's see if it happens.
Hopefully it does. That's what we're pushing for. Have you ever scrapped any content from Prehistoric Emergence?
I have scrapped. I'd say like there's probably as much scrapped content, not completely done, but as much scrapped stories as there are completed stories. Some of them are pretty, like I told you about the Oompy one. Oompy was going to be Arthur originally. In fact, there's probably a whole scrap timeline that was so different. So I'll tell you, we'll go back in time a little bit. At the end of episode 3, there's a creature. I think you talked about it, like the Sarcosuchus, and people still ask where it is to this day. And I'm sorry, because I originally did not realize the production was going to go anywhere, and I was just going to pull off that video like another Tuesday, like the exact same thing as episode like 3, and it was going to be like the final boss of like, I don't know, I didn't really come up with the dynamic yet, but it was going to be the final boss, and that's scrapped for now. It'll probably come back. It actually got scrapped a second time. It was also going to be a Halloween special, but it was so hard to pull off with school. It was like just impossible, and that's what my Prehistoric Roommate took the place of, but then, you know, because of the animation is stretched on way past Halloween. And I also wanted to tell a story that wasn't like super bloody and gory. Like right after The Friendly Giant and Direwolf, I wanted to tell one that was a little bit more grounded and just like, you know, man and prehistory are friends. So Sarcosuchus got scrapped twice. The second story is going to be just a soldier was called to eliminate it. That's also pretty like linear. Some creatures like the Sabertooth and the Anomalocaris were going to show up in episode 2. It was going to have the theme of like 3 aquatic creatures, 3 mammals, 3 like, I don't know, reptilian, I guess. But I could not, that was, even with the production back then being a lot quicker because it was like AI, it was a lot to pull off. Story-wise, it was just throwing like so much at you guys. So I had to scrap it and then kind of give it its own time to shine. The Sabertooth deserves some time to shine. There is some stories I scrapped that I'm willing to come back to. And there's one I'm really excited about. I just don't want to delay the main plot line with Adaba and Gray for too long, which is why I'm not doing this anytime soon. But I have this whole cartel storyline planned with the Prehistoric Emergence. And there's gonna be something, it's not an animal, but there's gonna be something that empowers them. It's not, don't get too excited. It's cool, but it's not like game changing cool. But basically it like allows them to make more money. And then you have to go through an officer's perspective as he has to take down the cartel. But then this is a kind of a weird story because a lot of it is about the horrors of the cartel and then just how prehistoric creatures can be naturally sprinkled in. So there's like this whole thing about where an undercover gang agent had to go through initiation by stealing an egg from a large theropod, not a T-Rex, but something similar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then there was and they were going to have the Sabertooth as like their own personal pet that would be like used to execute people. And it was supposed to intentionally be very dark because I'm trying to accurately depict how the cartel would act during this situation. And they're just like a complete beast because they're making so much money. Because if something happens, that's probably still going to happen that I won't spoil because I do want to pull off the story. So that's a little teaser for it that I want to do this like cartel story. There's an Oceans video that actually has some CGI like worked on that's scrapped, but I actually It's going to be a submarine, and I know you guys have been asking for the deep hole exploration. It was going to go in the deep holes, so I know some people will be upset to hear that. Yeah.
No.
But I woke up today, because it was going to reveal another thing. I couldn't decide. It was going to reveal an older storyline, or like a storyline probably people forgot about, but people still sometimes ask about, and like First Apex Predator is going to expand upon it while going into the deep holes. And I will tell you this now, you're like, no, don't expect too satisfying of an answer. Like, we will explore more. There's going to be more lore, but there's just going to be a sense of mystery always. And that was still going to be the pattern of this video, which is kind of what I also worried about, is that it might disappoint people if it doesn't give them an answer. But I actually woke up today and might continue doing that video, because that, I have a great idea for it now and how it's actually going to turn to a story later down the line. Originally, it just felt too much like a one-off that wasn't going anywhere. But I've given you some hints as to what's going to happen, so let's see if you guys can piece it together. It is going to continue off of First Apex Predator storyline. That's my hint. And I'm not confirming its existence, but there may actually sometime soon be an ocean deep hole video.
Definitely noted. Noted.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the deep holes are a tough thing to tackle. Like, it's probably, I don't know, it might just split the fan base if you never get an answer, and then it will if you do get an answer. It's kind of the backrooms dilemma, in a sense. Everyone's going to the movie expecting an answer, but you're probably not going to get one.
I do think it is sometimes just better to like leave it a mystery, because sometimes when you reveal that answer, it's like, it kind of ruins the effect of it for you.
Yeah, I think there will be more revealed, but not too much, right? Like, it'll almost just seem like you constantly unravel it and never find the ending. That's probably the vibe I'm going to go with the deep holes. But there will be more information, not an exploration, but in the next like cinematic episode, there will be more explanation on them. So that's just scratch the itch for now, hopefully.
Any future ideas for merch? I know a lot of people after the Arthur episode were saying, damn, I'd really love an Arthur plushie, or any kind of plushie, really, the Daba even. So is that anything that's on your radar?
Yeah, I would love to do plushies. I've looked into it several times. I can't exactly figure out what the best path for that is yet, because a lot of them you have to order like 300 at one time to get a good. And I want to I do want the merch to be affordable for everybody, but it's hard. I swear, like, if it ever comes off as greed, I'm sure you understand, Marcus.
Yeah.
Sold anything, yeah. Like, I know you said you were looking into merch, but it's a tough game. But I am going to do more designs for shirts, posters. Marcus knows this. I'm collaborating with another analog horror creator, so there'll be some merch out soon for that. And I am actually working to get the margins to be a little better so you can make it a little cheaper. Plushies, I would do the Daba first after he's shown next. Because you would have to get any manufacturer to agree with you, you would have to prove that you can sell a certain amount or to afford it. That's kind of the issue. And then we can go from there to Arthur and hopefully Oompy. Those are like the three I'd really want to do. Also Gray. I'd love to do Gray. Yeah, Gray. There's some characters I'd love to get in there too. I would say if I had to pick three, it'd be Oompy, Daba, and Gray. But Arthur's really high up there as well. And I'm open to more ideas. I did want to look into a Blu-ray, especially for like season 2. Well, I'll probably have to do season 1 as well, just for it to make sense. But I want to do a Blu-ray for season 2 especially, and season 3. So I'm looking into that. Just some cooler ideas. Something beyond just TV shirts. I mean, not TV shirts, posters and shirts. T-shirts, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite kind of merch is usually like, obviously I love the t-shirts and the posters and stuff, but whenever it goes like beyond that in any way, I'm always like all in. Even if it's something like I don't usually play stuff on VHS, but like if someone's selling a VHS tape, I'm like, yeah, I need that, because I just think it's so cool. Like, it's so something outside of like the norm.
Oh, VHS is cool. That's cool. That's a good idea. I should look into that.
But even like you said, like a Blu-ray, I would definitely absolutely love to have and display.
Yeah, Blu-rays is probably my like favorite. Oh, other than plushies, I think that's got to be number one. But Blu-rays a really cool idea. I was actually contemplating if I could just sell like recreations of the props, like Arthur eggs, but I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of disgusting because they're also made with real, like I rubbed it in actual dirt. So I don't think I want to like mail it and have someone open it up and it smells like shit.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I'm like, the other props, I'm like, I'm not sure if it's there yet. I even debated doing the full costumes for Gray, but then like it's not going to satisfy people. I can't manufacture different sizes, but I am thinking about going outside the boxes. I just need to be more creative with the merch. Blu-ray's cool. Plushies are cool. The plushies are notoriously hard. And I don't want to do something just for the sake of it, like charging like $10 to get like behind the scenes. I'm not a big fan of that. Like something that you can display, as you said, it'd be awesome.
My last question for you today is, have you watched any other analog horror series? And if you have, which is your favorite?
So the funny part is when I made Prehistoric Emergence, I'd almost never seen an analog horror start to finish, like even one video. So that's interesting. I had just seen probably clips, and people had told me, oh, your stuff kind of looks like analog horror. And then, actually, no, sorry. So then right before I made Prehistoric Emergence, what did I see? I think I saw a little bit of Vita Carnis, mostly season 2. I love the newer stuff, like the production it has now. But then I went back and I kind of looked at how he did things earlier. And then that's kind of what I applied to the Mandela catalog as well, into the roots of Prehistoric Emergence. And then I'm like, okay, let's get more creative from here, because I realized I did not know at the time this is something everyone was doing. Like, I saw any analog horror video and then thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then I saw 10 more and I'm like, they're kind of getting repetitive a little bit.
Yeah. It's a very packed genre now, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then I had found that, basically the greats analog horror. So let me think. Dr. Nowhere is amazing. And I think I appreciate it, not because it inspires my style, but because it's something I can enjoy, and I can not think about how I want to make my video. I can just enjoy his for what it is. Because for Vita Carnis, it's a little bit more inspiring because it's like animal horror, and he's doing like practical stuff, CGI, and like, okay, that's giving me ideas. Dr. Nowhere, I can just enjoy it for what it is. Mandela Catalog, I haven't caught up yet. I remember the first episode, like, I wouldn't I don't want to say anything bad. It's just like I had seen it enough times where I wouldn't rewatch it now. It definitely, from the clips I've seen, it's gotten really cool, and I want to catch up with it. But some underrated ones, Paleo Void. I don't think he's covering this channel, but he does a dinosaur analog horror, and he did like CGI, like found footage CGI scenes like right before I did it. So that was really cool. And he's totally super underrated, so you guys should check him out as well. And I wish I had so many more shout outs to do, but I don't. I'm blanking on it now. But Dr. Nowhere is probably my favorite. I'm actually curious what your favorite is. I feel like you never really get the chance to say, like, other than Vita Carnis, like what your favorites are actually.
Vita Carnis is number one for me. I'm heavily biased, of course. But Greylock is up there a lot. And so is Hollow Birds, which you might enjoy. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Actually, Hollow Birds, it's less of an analog horror, it's more of like digital horror.
Yeah, Hollow Birds is really cool. That I did see that. I don't know if I saw every single episode start to finish, but I definitely saw enough to like get the plot and the details. Yeah, that would be a cool one if he continued it. I know he won't. Greylock, so when I was in college and school, like, it's so hard to find time to sit down and like watch a series, because analog horror is more of a slow burn, which is fine. I love it for that. But then sometimes when you're just doing homework and you just want something quick, because then you have to get back and do homework, you'd rather just watch a recap. So I did watch someone covering Greylock, because I was watching it and I was just so confused. I'm like, I need some explanation, but I just had not finished it yet because there's a little bit to get through.
Definitely a lot to Greylock. For sure.
Yeah. And then also just adulthood in general. It's like I'm enjoying it, but there's some things to it. Like, it's harder to spend time, just sit down and like analyze videos because you want to. So it's a bit of a struggle for me to go out there and watch analog horror. I definitely like use your channel sometimes to figure out what the best ones are. So yeah, I want to check out Greylock. That seems so up my alley because it's so abstract and I just have no idea what's going on. And that's awesome, honestly.
Yeah, it's I would say it's there's a lot of different like avenues and storylines that are going on, but they're definitely all related and they just haven't united yet. So it's very cool in that way.
What do you think the most underrated analog horror is?
Oh God. Again, like I'm a big fan of Hollow Birds. I feel like that deserves like so much more attention for the work that went into that. But man, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot that is. I think Midwest Angelica deserves a ridiculous amount of more praise for the amount that's gone into that series.
Yeah, I need to watch that start to finish. I have seen the thumbnails and it's crazy visual. You just don't get that from many analog horrors.
No, it seriously has like its own complete style to it that is so unique, and there's so much that is put into that, and I think it deserves like. I wish that I could get like another run on the algorithm to help push it out more.
Yeah, that's probably going to be on that and Greylock are on my list to watch next. I do like that a lot of analog horrors are almost just not analog horrors anymore.
Yeah, that's the genre name is kind of a joke at this point because it's like there's such a spectrum of things that are in analog horror.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I would say, there's I think a lot of the mainstream analog horror videos are now they're kind of their own branch. Like you can't even really slap a genre on most of them, like Midwest. And from what I have seen on Midwest Angelica, it's a little harder to describe it other than to say analog horror, but it still doesn't feel accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. There are like some scenes where you're like, okay, that's kind of analog horror a little bit, and then you watch the rest of it and there's like, you know, these massive scenes and crazy events happening and you're like, I don't really think this is analog horror anymore. But I don't know what else to call it.
Like I did see the scene from Mandela Catalog where like one of the, I guess, anomalies is like, or alternates is like ripping his face off. And there's just nothing inside of it. And that was really cool. But what I would like to see more of is like human storylines. I feel like a lot of the time it's like a scientist, which I have, a scientist will also be like a theme in mind, but you don't really get to know who they are. Or like, they're mostly so focused on the plot. They are a plot device, which is okay. I mean, everything's a plot device. But I would like for some analog horrors to kind of sit down like, okay, let's learn a thing or two about this character.
Totally agree with what you're saying. It's usually there's a larger focus on like the big threat that's going on rather than the characters in the situation.
Exactly. And I think I haven't seen Godzilla -1, but from what I hear, it's like the threat of Godzilla and the humans' reactions, which is so up my alley. Because that's what I want Prehistoric Emergence to feel like, is there is this like cosmic scale threat, but you're gonna get it from the lens of someone like Antoine Roux, who's just trying to vlog stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. And he's a protester. Yeah, he's a vlogger and a protester, and that's like a very realistic thing.
No, I was just gonna say that's what I love about like your videos now, is that you get like that personal feeling and that connection with these characters. Like you totally feel for Antoine in that situation, and he's just a part of something that is so much bigger as well.
Yeah, and I would also love an analog horror that I try to do nowadays is like for more modern themes, modern events, not necessarily events, but it's like AI being brought into the story. It's just so like such a hot topic, because even putting AI in the title, some people thought the video was AI. I thought it was like pretty clear that it was like AI in the universe.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, all RaptorAI is. But I would love to see stuff like that too. There's so much room for it. A lot of them take place like before this century, but they don't always have to do with like things of that century either, like the 80s or 70s. So I would love for them to also like tackle just modern day developments or just historical events too. I think Monument Mythos, right? That I haven't seen it. That's on my list as well, actually. That should be like almost #1, but that seems to really go with the theme of what I'm saying, of it tackling like historical events.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy it for that aspect. It has been a while since I've caught up with it. I know there's like a lot of newer things going on with it, but it is very like involved in that and tackling those historical events in a different way.
Yeah, so maybe I'll just gotta explore more before I speak too much on the matter. Like I have so much to catch up on. It's tough. I also want to spend more time making the videos, and that's like I should also get inspired by some of the greats out there. Like I think people would be surprised based on the creators I've talked to. I know you talked to some, Marcus. We don't like get around and watch all the analog horrors out there, even though it seems like that's what we spend most of our time doing.
Yeah, I do think that was like, obviously, yeah, without talking about it too much, like we have been in like meetings with a lot of creators, and that was my biggest takeaway, was that so many people were like, I haven't really seen much, and I was like, oh wow, you guys are like huge in the genre and you guys haven't seen like a lot of each other's stuff, which is crazy. But it totally makes sense. Like it's a lot of time. It's time consuming. There's so much to watch now too.
Yeah, and like I don't know how much we're allowed to say, but I will mention that even like one of the analog horror creators there, who's like known probably by some of you guys, has like seen pretty much nothing outside of like three series, which is crazy. And I think making the videos, it does change your perspective watching them, because I don't want to say judgmental, but you're kind of thinking about the production more. So it changes your experience, and it's sometimes a good thing, but sometimes a bad thing. That's why I like watching Dr. Nowhere. It's not because the others are like, you know, worse objectively. It's just because I am actually watching that completely without thinking about my own videos and my production, because it's so out of the realm of what I'm doing.
No, that totally makes sense. I understand that aspect in certain YouTubers as well when I watch them, and I'm like, you start like comparing a little bit, or being like, you know, damn, how could I do something like that for me? And yeah, it can easily take away like the viewing experience rather than just like sitting there and enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah, like even to this day, like I know there's a Minecraft mod pack in my series, so shout out to that. If you guys want to check it out, I think you can just search for Prehistoric Emergence mod. I haven't checked it out to this day, just because like it's a little bit of setup I haven't done yet. Like I'm still just so focused on pumping out the videos at a better pace that I haven't gotten to fully enjoy what has the benefits, right? I guess of being the creator. And I need to sometimes practice gratitude and enjoyment. That's why I love watching your reactions, because that's what I feel. I feel like I'm giggling and watching it as a viewer. Because you're a very engaging like YouTuber, right? Like some people, it's okay if they analyze it and stare at it, but they don't really make that many observations or watching it because it's another thing in their schedule. But I like watching your videos. That's very engaging. And I would love to play the Prehistoric Emergence mod. Like I need to enjoy more of those things as a creator, because that's just healthier, honestly, than ultra focusing on how to boost your production.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that too in some aspects. Like I get so caught up in like trying to make videos that it's like you gotta enjoy other things outside of that and not just, you know, think about strictly that. The Prehistoric Emergence mod thing is kind of funny because I thought I saw that somewhere on YouTube or something, but I thought it was clickbait. I didn't realize it was actually a mod like for Prehistoric Emergence.
So actually that guy did reach out to me. I can't remember what we talked about, but the creator was a cool mod, a cool guy, but the mod is just a pack. He basically took mods and like he didn't change the code or anything or the assets, but he just blended like analog horror mods with prehistoric creatures, which honestly is all you need to do. I mean, one day it'd be awesome to see like guns thrown in there. I don't think there's guns in there right now, or maybe like, I don't know, like a gray skin or Dadaba. The Dadaba is what's not in there, which is, you know, I hope one day he makes into that mod pack or somebody makes a mod. It would be so awesome. But you're still getting the experience. Also deep holes too. Like I thought if I ever did a mod, there'd be deep holes you can jump in and probably die because I don't want to reveal where they go.
Can't reveal the secret.
But like, yeah, you could explore some of it, because I will go into some exploration, but like it'd be cool if creatures spawned around it or inside of it, and like there are paths for it to walk outside of it and migrate. I mean, it's a lot of work. But the Dawa would be one too that's always at a distance watching. Because that's his whole thing, is he's only killed out of self-defense so far. He's not going to necessarily just go out and try to kill you. But I would love to see a mod like that. But I still need to just go back and try out the mod path that does exist.
Well, all right. That is all the questions I have for you today. I want to thank you again for joining me and coming on to the video. I already know that the viewers are definitely going to appreciate your answers. I think you talked about so much in depth about like creating the series and different aspects of the story and things like that. So thank you so much.
Of course. And, you know, thank you guys for submitting these questions. And if you want to see it again when the story's developed more, I'm all for it. I will always be there if Prehistoric Emergence is involved.
And all right, guys, that is going to be the end of today's video. Like I said earlier, if you guys did enjoy the Q&A section, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below, and we'll be sure to start doing that with even more creators of different series. Again, want to thank you so much to AZUNStudios for even coming on to one of my videos and talking about the series. It is truly an honor to have you in one of the videos directly. And obviously, I'm going to continue saying it to you guys. Please be sure to go and support AZUNStudios Channel, which will be linked in the description down below. AZUN is so close to hitting 100k subscribers, and we could definitely help AZUN hit that goal. Especially since I'm not going to go over Prehistoric Emergence again until there's a few more episodes that come out, so you guys could go subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and when those videos come out, you could go and watch them first. And then when I make my video on them, you could come back and tell me all your theories and all of your thoughts on the episodes. I also want to mention Prehistoric Emergence's merch, which I will be leaving linked in the description down below as well. As you can see throughout the entire video, I've been repping G-Pack, even though I don't really know how I feel about G-Pack anymore, but they are fictional, so you know, I do love this sweatshirt. It is super comfortable, and I love the patch on it. And it's not even, I'm being truthfully honest with you guys. I also have the other shirt that they sell, and I believe there is more merch coming soon. So definitely be on the lookout for that. The link to it will be in the description down below. And of course, please be sure to go and support AZUNStudios on all different platforms. AZUN's also on Instagram and TikTok, so be sure to go and follow there. And all right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up for today. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to let me know by dropping a like on it. And also, I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments down below. Also, obviously, if you're new to this channel, please be sure to subscribe. We make videos like this all the time on all different sorts of series across the internet. And if you guys want to see more content from me that isn't just on this channel, be sure to check out my second channel, Project Immortal, which will be linked in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.